Okay, so welcome to the training, and we will be talking about uh, interfaces. Okay, now when suppose when you visit the website, okay, when you are visiting the website, any website, uh, the cover face of the website tells you, say, what the website is all about. So the cover face of the website is like an interface, but you don't know really that what is going behind the scene. Okay, right. This Eclipse IDE is an interface where you can write a code, but when you click on this run button, how it executes the code, you are really not sure about it. Okay, so interface is something which gives you an idea about the system. Right. Similarly, we have interfaces in Java which give you idea about a system. Okay, right. Now, why do we need an interface? First of all, let me tell you that. Right. Let me make a new class known as Selenium Basics. Right. With the main function like we made yesterday. Now, as I told you yesterday, that suppose I have to write a script. Okay, I have to write a script which will work in all the browsers. Okay, which will work in all the browsers. So how will you write that? How will you write that script? Okay, for example, if I keep the browser name as Mozilla, then whatever script I'm writing over here should work on the Mozilla browser. If I change it to Chrome, then whatever script I'm writing, okay, should be working on Chrome. All right. So just a minute, guys. Somebody is not able to hear me. Just a minute. Yeah. So how do you solve this problem? This problem can be solved with the help of interfaces. Okay. Right. Now, giving an idea about the interface, as I told you, that interfaces, they give you an idea that what a system is supposed to do. For example, I'll make a new interface known as, say, bank. So interface bank is blank right now, and I'll put some functions. For example, public void transfer. Okay, public void credit. Okay, public void debit. So you can make function in the interface, but you cannot define the body of the function. Okay, the functions are just defined over here. Okay, anybody who's reading this bank interface will just come to know that fine, these are the three functions of a bank. All right, and we can make an implementation class. For example, I'll make a class like HSBC Bank. Right, and I'll write over here implements bank. So when a class is implementing an interface, it is mandatory for the class to implement all the functions in the interface. It is mandatory. All three functions have to be implemented by the HSBC bank. So if you move your mouse over here, you can add the unimplemented methods. Right. Transfer, credit, and debit. Right. You can print over here. Hold on. So these three functions will be the part of the HSBC bank class, and it is mandatory that you have to implement these three functions. Okay, hold on. I'll just write HSBC bank transferring. Right. Even if I remove one of the functions, you will get an error. You have to mandatorily implement all the functions. This at the rate override is an annotation. It's not mandatory to put it. You can remove it as well. Right. But if you put it, that means that this function is coming from the bank interface. Okay. Over here, you can write HSBC, hold on, bank credit and HSBC bank debit. Okay, fine. So pretty simple. You make an interface and you make the class implement the interface and implement all the functions. How it is useful to us, I will just tell you. Okay, I can make one more class known as Citibank. Okay, Citibank will also implement the bank interface. Okay, so if Citibank is implementing the interface, it will also implement the three functions. You can write over here Citibank transferring. Okay, then Citibank credit, then Citibank debit. Okay, right. So each class can implement the functions in the interface. Each class, both of these classes, they have the same function names, but the implementation is according to them. Okay, if I create a new class known as test, and in this I create the objects. Okay, if I try to create the object of bank, I will get an error. You cannot create the object of an interface because interface is incomplete. Okay, it just defines the methods, right? There is no body. You cannot create the object, but yes, object reference is valid, but object you cannot create. You can create the objects of the other two classes, right? You can create and you can call the functions, right? Transfer, these functions will be available, dot credit, and you can call debit. Similarly, you can call the functions of Citibank. It's not as simple as it looks, and it is not as simple as it's looking now. So just pay attention, right? I'm coming over to something important. Right, so if you run this code, obviously it will print HSBC transferring credit debit, Citibank transferring credit debit. The function names are same inside both the classes. Okay, now the first question which generally people ask me is that I created an interface, had two classes implementing the interface. Okay, I could have simply made two classes rather than making one interface and having two classes implementing the interface. I could have never made the interface, or I could have simply made these two classes and I could have put the functions in them. What is the need of interface? Okay, look, the need is that interface, it gives a structure to the application. Okay, it creates a certain discipline. Whatever functions are there in the interface will be present, will be implemented by the two classes. The two classes will be implementing these functions. Okay, right. So it gives a certain structure to the application. A layman coming can just look at the interface and understand that fine, this is the system about, these are the functions which will be there in the classes. Tomorrow, if you have got more banks coming up in the system, then all the banks will simply implement this interface and will have same set of function names. Okay, it gives a kind of discipline to the application. All right. In case of Selenium, right, if you talk about Selenium, then if you go to the official website of Selenium, go to the download section, fine. Out here, if you scroll down, this is the Java doc link. This is the documentation of Selenium. Fine, if you go to this link, you will see all classes. These are all the classes which are there in Selenium project. Okay, these are all the classes. Right. In this, whatever is written in italics, this mouse is written in italics. Whatever is written in italics is an interface. Like interface mouse, it's got features which can be used to manage mouse, like mouse move, mouse up, context click, right? And these are the two implementing classes, right? Similarly, if you scroll down, everybody has heard about the WebDriver word. Okay, in the documentation, there is WebDriver, and WebDriver is an interface. This interface contains functions which are generic functions which you want to fire on a browser, like close, find element on the browser, get the title of the browser, get page source, navigate. Okay, so these are general functions which you would want to perform on a browser. Those are present in this interface. And these are the implementing classes. All the driver classes which we studied yesterday are the implementing classes, like Chrome driver, Firefox, Opera, Remote, Safari. Okay, we studied about these classes yesterday, right? We had made few objects, right? We had made the objects of these classes and we had studied it. right? So all these are the implementing classes. So that means the function names in these classes will be the same. Okay, right. So if I come over to my problem that, hold on, how to write code which will work on all the browsers. How do you write the script? The function names in all the driver classes are same. However, if I keep a if condition that if browser name is dot equals is used for comparison, right, is equal to Mozilla, hold on, if the browser name is Mozilla, then make the script work on Mozilla, right? If it is Chrome, then make script work on Chrome. But what will I write in this if condition and all, right? So you can keep else if browser name is equal to Chrome, right? Else if browser name is equal to I, fine, right? In these cases, you will initialize your drivers by writing the same code which we had written yesterday. Hold on. And for I, right? Okay. Now, writing this line system.setProperty is important, but it is not necessary to write this line every time. Okay. What you can do is you can, hold on, you can go to this, you can create a folder and you can keep all the exes in a folder like I have done, and copy the path of the folder. Fine. Right click on my computer and just 1 minute, guys. Just hold on. Just one. So you can right click on my computer and go to properties and go to advanced system settings. Go to environment variables. Right. Scroll down and you will see a path variable. Edit it. In Windows 10, you will get a screen like this. In Windows 7 or 8, you will get a different screen. I will talk about it. Right. In Windows 10, click on New and give the path where you have kept all the exes. Fine. Okay. In Windows 7 or 8, you will get a screen like this. Okay. Go to the end, put a semicolon, give the path of the drivers after the semicolon. Fine. Okay. Now, this is done. When this is done, restart your PC. Restart your PC, and after this, you don't have to write these lines unnecessarily again and again. The driver will come in the system properties automatically. Okay. So if I run now, My Chrome will open and it will take me to yahoo.com. Okay, right. The function names in all the three driver classes are same. Coming back to the point where we were, because all the three driver classes are implementing the WebDriver interface. So whatever functions you will get in Firefox driver, you will also get in Chrome driver, and you will also get in iDriver. Right. Suppose after going to the website, you want to get the title of the site. You can write over here Firefox driver dot get title, and you can write for Chrome get title command gets you a title Chrome driver dot get title, and with I you can write iDriver dot get title. Okay, so get title command you are firing again and again out here. Okay, now the problem is the same. Will I be writing separate piece of code for every browser? Functions are same, but the code is getting repeated. If I have a 100-line script, I am doing something over here, out here as well, and out here as well after navigating to the website. I have a lot of lines. Will I repeat those lines for every browser? All the three classes are implementing the same interface, so we get the same functions. But again, I have to repeat those functions in every if command, every command over here, right? So the problem is this is the problem, and the solution again comes up from the concept of interfaces. Okay, let us go back to interfaces now, right? So this was the bank interface. It had three functions, and both these implementing classes had three functions. Right. Now suppose HSBC Bank says that fine, I offer one more function which is not offered by a general class, which is private banking. Okay. So what we can do is we can access this function from the object of HSBC Bank. That is possible. Okay, hold on. Okay, I made it in Citibank. I'm sorry. So Citibank class says that we do private banking, which is not done by a general bank. Okay, so Citibank class will have this function known as private banking. And when you run this, you see that private banking is printed. Right. Now, listen to this carefully. At times, people get confused over here. Out here, I am creating the object like this. Citibank C equals to Citibank. HSBC Bank H equals to HSBC Bank. Now I will create the object like this. Bank B equals to new Citibank. There's a difference in this line and in this line. Over here, we have the reference of interface. Okay, pointing towards the object of implementing class. Okay, the reference of interface is pointing towards the object of the implementing class. The references of the bank interface points towards the Citibank object. Okay, right. And you can write over here B dot credit v dot debit, v dot transfer. Now, what is the difference between above two? I will tell you. When you create the object like this, right? Hold on. Before that, I will just run it. I'll put a demarking line and I'll run it. So when I run it, it prints Citibank credit, debit, and transfer. Okay. The difference between this, creating the object like this, and creating the object like this. The difference is when you create the object like this, you can access the functions in the Citibank which are coming from the bank interface. Okay, you cannot write b dot private banking because private banking function is not coming up from the interface bank. Fine. Okay. Right. Now, hold on. What is the use of this? What is the use of this? I can also write bank B1 equals to new HSBC bank. I can write B1 dot credit, B1 dot debit, B1 dot transfer. Right. You can do that. And when you run this code, it says HSBC bank credit, HSBC bank debit, HSBC bank transferring. Fine. Okay. Now, once this is done, maybe I decide that fine, B1 will point towards the object of Citibank. Now, this is the trick over here. B1 is the reference of bank interface, right? I can also make it point towards the Citibank object. And when I fire the same set of functions, B1 dot credit, debit, and transfer, these will be called from Citibank now because B1 is now pointing towards the object of Citibank. Earlier it was pointing towards object of HSBC Bank. So when you run this, you see that HSBC credit, debit, and transferring, and Citibank credit, debit, and transferring. So dynamically, I can make B1 point towards the object of any implementing class. I can write over here bank B2 equals to null. Okay, right. And based on my choice, I can make bank B2 point towards object of Citibank, or I can make B2 point towards object of HSBC Bank. When it is pointing towards object of Citibank, you can write B2 dot credit, and when it is pointing towards HSBC Bank, you can write B2 dot credit again out here. Command is same, but these two commands will give you a different output. Okay, right. Now, as I told you, WebDriver is an interface, and all these are the implementing classes. Okay, all these are the implementing classes, and WebDriver is an interface. Okay, so we have been creating objects in a form of primitive way out here. Okay, that is, we write something like um, Firefox driver fd equals to new Firefox driver, or Chrome driver cd equals to new Chrome driver. Okay, right. Now we know that both these driver classes are implementing the WebDriver interface. So I can also write like this: WebDriver d1 equals to new Firefox driver. Okay, or I can write like WebDriver d, hold on, WebDriver d2 equals to Chrome driver. Or maybe on the next line, I can point d2 to Internet Explorer driver. Okay, the object of Internet Explorer driver. Or maybe I can point D2 towards objects of, hold on, I'll just copy this, Firefox driver. So it's my choice. I can make the reference point towards the object of any implementing class. If I write over here, I'll just comment these three lines. Hold on. If I write over here d2 dot get to http yahoo.com, and the same command I give in I, that d2.get to bbc.com, and over here I give d2.get to say cnn.com. So this will open Chrome, I, and Firefox. It will take Chrome to Yahoo, I to BBC, and Firefox to CNN. Right. Okay. But the reference is the same. It is pointing from one browser to another browser. So if I run this code, I don't need to write system.set properties because I had set the exes in the system properties. So you see that it opens Chrome, takes it to Yahoo. Hold on. And then it should open I. You see that I opens. Make sure you have the right set of settings and configurations, which I told you yesterday. You have to do them in I. See that I comes to BBC, and then Firefox opens. It goes to CNN. Right. Okay. Now I can use the same concept. I can use the same concept when I am working with Selenium. Okay, I had made this class Selenium Basics and I wanted the same script to run on all the browsers. Okay, so what I can do is instead of writing these things, you don't need to write all these lines now. You can create the reference of a single interface. I can declare over here that web driver equals to null. And based on my choice, I can make driver point towards Firefox driver. Or I can make the same driver point towards Chrome, and I can make the same driver object point towards Internet Explorer. Fine. So over here you can write driver dot get http yahoo.com. So instead of writing this command in the brackets, you can simply write it after the driver has launched over here. So whether driver is Mozilla, Chrome, or IE, you can write driver.get to this URL. It will go to that URL. So now I have Chrome. So when I run this code, Chrome will open and it will take you to yahoo.com. Right. Fine. And if I close this and if I change this variable to Mozilla and if I run this code, it will open up Mozilla and take you to yahoo.com. So it is pretty simple. The concept is very simple. Okay, but it is very powerful as well that with just by using interface reference, you can dynamically open the browser and then fire the regular driver commands. If after going to the website you want to get the title of the site, you can write driver dot get sorry get title. Fine. Okay. Now moving ahead, this is about interfaces. Okay. After you reach the website, you would also want to interact with the elements of the web page. And how do you do that? Look, everything on a web page is known as a web element. On this web page, link, a button, right, a text field, the regular text on the web page. All these things are known as web elements. Okay, and there is an interface in the Selenium documentation. Hold on. In the Selenium documentation, you will find an interface named web element. Okay, this is a general interface which represents an HTML element on the page, means that a generic element on the page. And this thing has got functions. Click. Okay, hold on. Are we in the web? Yeah. These things have functions which can interact with the elements of the web page. For example, get of the element. Is this state whether the element is state get a location x of the element, right? And click on the web element. So this class a element. Okay, right. Just 1 minute, guys. PC is hanging. Are you guys able to hear me? Maybe it might crash. Okay, I'm thinking you up now.
Yeah, Ashish, your voice is dropping in between sometime.
Yeah, my PC has just
Hello? Is class is still going on?
Class is still on. Ashish has,
just
I think Ashish has dropped. Class is still on.
The battery is low, that's why he switched off. Maybe he'll come online soon.
I think he's connecting back. Let's wait.
guys, are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. My PC had issues. It's somehow the CPU utilization has gone to 100%. There are many applications open. Okay, hold on, just hold on. There's so many browsers open right during the session, and I had this script also running, JMeter script yesterday, and I didn't restart. Okay, anyways, right. This, as I was telling you, this interface, web element interface, is a generic interface, fine, which represents a generic HTML component, right? So let us stop over here, okay, because doesn't make sense to start with web elements right now. Okay, so we will meet on Monday morning Indian time, which is Sunday in the evening in US. Okay, and we'll continue. So if you want to join the training, you can come on the online chat option of our website, qtpselenium.com. Okay, right. Now, okay. I haven't understood. I just see understood web element. Your voice was cutting. It's okay. It's okay. I'll tell you on Monday. I'll start off with web elements in detail on Monday, which is Monday morning Indian time, which is Sunday evening in US. Okay, because the class is from Monday to Friday in India, which is like Sunday to Thursday.